Hey everybody, welcome to today's daily Bitcoin analysis. So, today we are going to continue off from yesterday where we were discussing what the direction was, and it looks like it just played out exactly as is. So, let's just take a look here. So, today we are going to get right into it again. Like I was saying, these are going to be nice and quick, and we just dive right in. I will be creating a new video later on for my first educational video on trend lines. So I think it's really important to understand trend lines, and I think a lot of people take some. There are a lot of misconceptions about trend lines, and I'd like to clear some of that up. So yeah, so just be aware that I'm going to be making new educational videos every now and again. Hopefully, and trying to keep the channel fresh with educational videos along with these daily TAs. So here we go. We're on the daily now, and as we can see, it pretty well played out exactly what I was saying. So if we zoom back into the 90-minute where we were playing around yesterday, it's pretty well exactly what I said. So I was saying that we got this kind of double top horizontal trend line here, and we got this trend line coming up. Now, yesterday we were at this point here, and then I was saying that the most likely play was it was going to be within this box, right? So here we are, still in this box. I said that it was going to come down, and it was just going to kind of hover around this area. And that's exactly what it looks like. Let me clear some of this up. Looks like exactly that's what it played out as if we actually use some really nice trend lines. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm just drawing. I'm just using the drawing tool just so I can quickly draw and delete, for the purpose of the video. If you're going to use trend lines, I strongly suggest using these horizontal lines, rays, vertical lines, etc. Utilize these tools. So for instance, the magnet tool, very strong tool for being very precise with the bottoms of the wicks, etc. And we're going to just put this trend, we're going to stick that right there, and then just going to pull this up. And so if we do a little line like that, it looks like this trend line isn't very good, is it? So this is where we will discuss the trend lines. There's more than one trend line constantly, and you need to be aware of that. If we pull this trend line, this is a much more realistic trend line. And we'll discuss how each touch kind of like certifies, if you want to say it, this trend line as a real trend line. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and now a fifth touch on this trend line. So that indicates that this is going to start to bottom out along this trend line again. And I basically, for the next 24 hours, once again, no big plays. Like I said yesterday, it was going to come from 12 down to about 10, or it could try to come up. But my scenario likely was it's going to come out. Now, if we look at our KDJ real quick on the 90-minute, we can see it's bottomed out. It's already bottomed out, and it's starting to lift up. And if we pull up the KDJ real quick, we will be discussing this in a KDJ video. There may be several of them because KDJ is a very, very important indicator to me. It really helps me determine, the swing and the strength of the swing, the tops and the bottoms, and, the direction. So trend direction is always changing, right? It's always going up, it's always going down. And so with this tool like this, it can help you identify when a trend direction change, is going to happen, right? So when these four lines here are extremely important. It goes from 0 to 100, and it can tell you the overbought and oversold situations, right? And so when the trend reversal, when this starts to bottom out here, it almost always starts to come up because that's how KDJ works. It really does follow the trends. And these crosses are extremely important. So we're bottoming out, which if we go back to our chart, we could see that is what I'm expecting here to happen, right? We're going to start to slowly bottom out here. the strength of this downward trend right there is starting to weaken. And so that's where we are going to see this weakening, and then we may see it come back up. And so that's basically what we got for the next 24 hours, honestly. We're not, unless something dramatic happens with the overall stock market, it's this time in the day after market open. I don't think we're going to see too much happening, but you know, as I've said before, day to day is a little bit difficult to, when you're trying to predict this stuff. It's hard to predict the world events that's happening because, you don't have all the information of when a war is going to break out, or when somebody's going to bomb something, or, something dramatic happens around the world, could be, whether it be man-made or environmental, or, just natural disasters. All this stuff can affect, you know, the stock market. So it does affect Bitcoin in some way. But at the moment, nothing crazy happening, nothing going on. So it looks like we'll see this play out on our MACD. We'll see this little cross. It may not be very strong, but that's basically where we're headed. We're at this nice little weak point, and we've got this. Okay. So again, Trendline's very strong. Trendlines work on RSI, and there's a trend line right there. Okay. It's a bit messy there with those yellow lines. We remove the yellow lines. You can see this is a trend line. This is how it happens. It could break down a little bit through that trend line, but that is a trend line. Okay. So most likely, I think if we zoom out again to 270, we have the double top, which is providing us with this horizontal trend line. And I think that we've got a nice little, we are kind of stuck in this range. Okay. We're stuck in the 116 and this trend line range. Okay. So we're going to be here. It's possible we might try to come back up. And that's what I think is the next possibility. Now, if where we are right now with this discussion, it's important to note that candle right there, if this next candle on the 270 minute timeline, if the next candle goes like this and breaks down through this trend line, well, that's an indication. So that's probably what I will be looking for the next. I will watch this candle close, watch the new candle open, and then watch the opening of the candle and see, does it drop? Because we do have a cross here. But like I said, is it a cross that's strong, or is it like that? So is it going to be just, a weak with a bottom, or is it going to be a strong cross and drop down? But with the RSI coming in like this, I don't think it's going to be much of a strong drop. If it does drop, of course, when I talk about the trend lines, I'll talk about how there's more than one trend line. That is at $109,683. So, if we're looking at 109.7, could be the range where this candle comes down, breaks through this trend line here, but it cannot break this horizontal trend line. Okay. And that's pretty much it for the day. I will be creating a video for the next time. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to make an educational video on trend lines so you can understand, how do I come up with these trend lines, what makes a good trend line, and why some things about trend lines I think is a bit muddy in the world of TA. I think some people think there's only one trend line, or I don't know if they understand how to to identify how strong a trend line is. So you'll get that information. And once again, if you stuck around to the end, thank you very much.